hi everyone. We're gonna be just doing a live session. So if you have been watching the other lives, you know how this works. So you guys just hop in and just say hi and yeah, ask any questions and yeah, just have a interaction. So that's how we are gonna be doing it today. So if you guys have any questions or anything like that, just drop by and just go ahead and ask any questions and yeah. So I'll just wait for folks to come in and hey, yeah, hi. So you guys can either choose to leave the questions in the private side of things, or you guys can just leave it publicly as well. Either way is fine. So yeah, so I'm just like waiting for folks to come in and join in, and yeah, we'll just start. So I know this was like quite short notice, so thanks for joining in, and yeah, hey, hi. So I know this is the holiday season. So if you guys have anything related to manifesting something within a time crunch or something like that, that'd be great. Because I know at this point, like some things that a lot of people want to really see is I want to manifest X Y Z by Christmas, for example, or by the New Year. So if you guys have any manifestations like that, yeah, definitely. I never got to see you speak. Yeah, I do have a YouTube channel as well. The link's in my bio, in my Linktree page. So if you ever want to go and check that out, yeah, feel free to because there's a ton of videos there. So yeah, okay. So we have a question. Okay, we have a couple of questions actually. Yeah, so got my SP. He's my boyfriend of a year, but still dealing with unworthiness. Any suggestions? So if you are dealing with unworthiness, like if it's general sense of unworthiness, not pertaining to him per se, what I would suggest is that really like I just like made a post on this. Like I just shared a post on this as well. Is start with your achievements, right? Like list down your achievements from childhood till now. See all the things that you have achieved and like really start to boost your self concept. Like really start to see yourself in a different way, right? So that would be one way of like dealing with unworthiness. Is like if it's general, is to start seeing your achievements and start to shift the momentum into a favorable one where you are noticing all the good things about you. So what this does is that naturally you will start to feel worthy even without you trying to kind of convince yourself, because when you see like, hey, I have done XYZ, like there's no way you would think like I'm unworthy of something, right? So it's a natural way of doing it, or even doing things that are slightly out of your comfort zone, right? I'm always an advocate for this. Like maybe it's going for a walk every single day consistently, or it's taking the stairs instead of a lift, or even like things like doing the dishes consistently may improve your sense of worthiness, because like what that does is that it makes you feel like you have accomplished something, right? Therefore it makes you feel worthy even without you realizing it. It's a very natural way of doing so. Again, the things that you have to do, it doesn't have to be like super drastic, but in my experience it just have to be like small things here and there. And if you do it consistently, it improves your sense of worthiness. Now with regards to your boyfriend in specific, what you can do is that start to see yourself as a valuable partner in this relationship. Like, hey, the things that I bring into this relationship is just as important, if not more important, than whatever that he brings. He should be the one who's lucky to have me and not the other way around or anything like that, right? I am worthy of receiving this love, because everyone is me pushed out. Everyone is in my reality to serve me, right? I'm the operant power, and as such, I don't need to feel unworthy of anything, right? And what I would do is start priming your mind to receiving this love. So essentially what I would do in your case is that like I would start visualizing your like SP like saying kind things to you, nice things to you. And when you start like doing that, your body may not be used to it, your system may not be used to it in the beginning. So a good way to do that would be to practice inner conversations with him, and that way you wouldn't feel unworthy in any way. As time goes by, it'll kind of just fizzle out. So that's one way to go about it. So I hope that answered your question. Okay, so Hope Nuggets, hey Brent, how are you doing? Yeah. So you ask, how do you deal with the version of your SP that you don't like while affirming for the version you want? Okay, so this is a great question. Thanks for asking, man. So what I would do is go neutral. Like, go neutral in the sense that, whatever that they may do, not be a doormat rather, but like, go with the end in mind, right? I would say, like, think macro rather than micro. So you don't have to like micromanage anything, like on a day to day, right? If it's too unfavorable, like if, let's say, in extreme cases where the SP is like saying hurtful things to them and stuff like that, go no contact, right? Completely go no contact. If you have to, they will come back, as the conform version. That's not an issue. But if they are being very nice to you, if you guys have a good rapport between the both of you, but it's still not the fully conformed version, what I would say is that simply see it as the bridge of incidents and just go with the flow, right? Enjoy the process. Like, you don't have to micromanage anything, or you don't have to stress like your every single move. What I would say is that, continue to maintain like maybe favorable inner conversations with the ideal version, while despite like still interacting with the current version of them. Like, treat them like two separate entities, so that way you won't think like, okay, wait, if I'm doing XYZ, why is my SP still this way? And you won't feel conflicted. You won't be asking on a subconscious level like, hey, where's my manifestation? So treating them as two separate entities would really help you. So you can see it as, okay, this is the unconformed version and this is the conformed version in my mind, and I'm going to persist in that version more, and I'm going to talk to that version more, and like nurture that version, because that is the version that I want to see in my 3D. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Okay, let me just wave to a few folks. Guys, thanks for joining. I know it's a Sunday morning in Asia, so if you guys are like from like India or something, like, thanks for waking up really early. Okay, so there's a question. What if I affirm I have a perfect relationship with my SP? Is it a good affirmation, or am I doing it all wrong? I think that's great. I guess if your question is like, is going general or is being vague a good way of going about things, I'd say that's great. Because what you essentially do is that you are leaving a lot of what I would like to say wiggle room in your affirmation, right? If I say like like Hope Nuggets, one of his favorite affirmation is like, my life is always perfect, which is I feel like it's a wonderful affirmation. And what it does is that it encompasses everything, and your higher self knows exactly what you mean when you say, for example, your life is perfect, or when you say, I have the perfect relationship. Because the definition of a perfect relationship varies from person to person, but yet your higher self knows your specific definition of a perfect relationship, because that's how much emotional intelligence your higher self has. So I would say, so yes, it is a good affirmation. If so you can use that. That's not an issue at all, so that's completely fine. Okay, thanks for joining, guys. Hi. If you only do blanket affirmations like everything in my life is perfect, so I was just talking about that, I didn't scroll down. Is it okay to not do specific ones for SP and money, since blankets cover everything? Definitely, I feel it's fine. The only thing I would say there is, like, personally for me, I like to do blankets plus specific areas, and the reason why I do that sometimes is because some specific areas just need a little bit more care and attention, because of how strong our limiting beliefs may have been in the past, right? So even if like you say like your life is perfect, for example, like if I have a lot of like unworthiness with regards to money, for example, if I still have that, maybe somewhere I'm still not convinced, so that requires a little bit more special attention there. So I would advise, like, if I have strong limiting beliefs in certain areas, like if you do have strong limiting beliefs in some areas, or if you feel like you have a little bit more resistance in some areas, definitely going general plus specific affirmations would help. It's just like how we would work on our self concept simultaneously while manifesting an SP, or self concept plus money and things like that, right? Because it does help. Overall it does help. Blanket affirmations do help because it covers all areas of our lives. But like when it comes to specific areas, if you feel like the limiting beliefs are too overpowering, you can definitely use that. But of course, like, having said that, like, just one affirmation is more than enough, right? That's how like the isn't it wonderful kind of approach comes from, because that lady wanted to manifest so many different things, but she just sort of just focused on that feeling of like, okay, isn't it wonderful that I have everything that I desire, sort of way, right? She just focused on what it would actually feel like, and lo and behold, like she had everything that she wanted, right? She had a steady flow of income, she managed to live off really well for the rest of her natural life, and everything was favorable for her. So general affirmations do help, so going with a general approach helps. But if you do have like strong limiting beliefs in some areas, then I feel like you can certainly use specific ones along with the general ones as well. Yeah, hope that answers your question. Can you please give me some tips on how to let the old story die and not let 3D affect you, especially due to time crunch? Holiday shopping. Thank you, friend. Hey, yeah. To let the old story die, remove it of the one thing that it really thrives upon. The food, essentially, for it is your attention. So if you let that go, right, the old story will kind of naturally fizzle out. And so not letting 3D affect you, so it really depends on like what exactly the specific situation is, right? But essentially you go straight to the end, you assume that you already have whatever you want. Like, so let's say shopping, if it's a lack of money, for example, or something like that, right? I'm just assuming here. You just imagine yourself like holding tons of shopping bags, right? Like walking through Billionaires Row, for example, right? So like you can do that. That's completely fine. Going straight to the end, feeling like what would it be like to experience that, for example, that would be the ideal way to go about it, because the funds for holiday shopping, for example, may come through in any way, right? Someone may gift certain things to you, or someone may just transfer a couple $100 and say, what, hey, go and have a good day for yourself, since Christmas is coming, right? Dr. Joe Dispenza's daughter, like, she wanted a shopping spree, and I think every early morning, like, she would wake up, she would like imagine that her desire is already done, and she would show up into the day as though her desires are already done, every single day, as though her prayers have been already answered, right? She did this every day, and until like at one point she went out with her friend, and that friend's dad's colleague or something like recognized her and gave her the credit card, and like Dr. Joe Dispenza's daughter like spent like $7,000+ or something like that, right? So it does like work in miraculous ways when you really just let things flow. So I still like I always say this, like, just be open to possibilities, and just go straight to the end, and like soak it all in, and let the universe surprise you. Yeah, hope that answers your question. Okay, let me just wave to a few folks, and then I'll answer the questions. Sorry, because as I'm answering the questions, I'm not seeing the ones before that. So yeah. Okay, so what's your best technique to manifest a text message with SP? I'd say I honestly don't know a best technique, but like what I would do is maybe visualizing plus affirmations. I feel like those really work for me. Again, what works for me may not work for you, because simply because of like our limiting beliefs and vice versa, and like like there's just so many factors there. So definitely experiment, but like my go-to would definitely be visualizing, because I'm really good at visualizing and affirmations, because they are like a surefire way of like really drilling in favorable thoughts into our mind. So I would use both, or like a combination of like visualizing and affirming if I were you. You're welcome. Yeah. How can you decide if you want to manifest an SP or completely manifest a new person? Okay. So this one is a really good question, because it really boils down to why do you want your SP? Like, why did you start the journey in the first place? Like because you have to go back straight to the beginning of it all. Like why did you began this journey in the first place? What was it that you liked about them? What is it that you dislike about them now? And why do you think like it would be better if you manifest a new person? Like, you have to kind of like weigh the pros and cons, and if the cons for manifesting an SP is if the list is longer than the pros, then definitely just manifest a new person, right? So it's all about seeing it very objectively, I would say. If you really can't make a decision based on your emotions or based on the love you have for this person, view things objectively, take a step back, view things objectively. And this is the thing that I always tell people: if you ever change your mind in the future, like, no problem. Like, eventually at one point you will, you can always change your mind and say, you know what, I really want to manifest this person. You can do that, but nothing is set in stone, you see. So you can manifest them, but like what I would say is that take some time to reflect and, like, why you began this journey, and what is it that you really want out of a partner, what is it that you're aiming for, and do you really, can you really look past the old stories? Because 9 times out of 10 when it comes to SPs and things like that, when it comes to decisions like this, it's really the old story that's kind of like clouding your judgment. So ask yourself if you really can look past the old story, and if you can't, then go ahead and manifest a new person. Because like, if the old story is always going to be plaguing you, even if you kind of push through and have breakthroughs in certain times, like let's say your SP sends you a text or starts showing you really favorable behavior, because of that old story still being there, it'll become cold really fast, and you will start to experience this perpetual cycle of like hot and cold potentially. So to prevent all that, to save yourself the trouble, and to really enjoy your life at the end of the day, manifesting a new person might be ideal. So you really have to kind of weigh the pros and cons of it, and it's a case by case basis situation, if you will. So hope that answers your question. I don't see any movement since 1 year with my SP. Only some messages come to me. I don't know what to do. I've lived too long in the end, but now I think about giving up because he's not with me. Okay, so this is like one of those things. So firstly, it's not like you have received no movement, because you did see some messages which are considered movement. That's the thing, right? Like when you're talking about movement, you're talking about the major movements here. So and I get that, but like, when you see those texts, right, come through, like if your thoughts were like, well, yes, this is great and all, but like, where's the big one? Is it here yet? Or why isn't it here yet? Right? When you think about it like that way, that is potentially like sabotaging your your movement, because you are coming at it from that lack perspective, right? That kind of thought process pulls you away from the end state of mind, if you will. Like, if you're telling me for a year you have been maintaining that end state without like like looking at the 3D, without asking where is it or how will this happen, or without reacting, right, then like I would say, like, you have every right to give up and everything, which is fine, I understand. But like, chances are 9 times out of 10 that wasn't the case, right? Because if you did that, the duration would be much shorter, and I can assure you that, right? So you may have started that journey a year ago, right? But have you been consistent with that journey like for throughout a year 100% or dominantly? Probably not. So you have to ask yourself, like, okay, what were your shortcomings? Where were you like kind of falling off? And what can you do better if you choose to pursue this journey from now, right? Alternatively, in the meantime, what you can do is focus on your self-concept, because you can never go wrong by focusing on your self-concept and by investing in yourself. So while you take time to figure this out, focus on your self-concept, focus on your hobbies, because you're never going to be young this again. Like, you're never going to be this young ever again, right? So focus on your self-concept, focus on those types of things, and your hobbies and so on, and really like enjoy your life. Go out there and enjoy your life, and that way you're not putting pressure on the situation. You are letting things flow, and when you feel better, you can always come back to this and deal with this. So yeah, hope that answers your question. Sorry, I had to take a sip because my throat is done. 9:40 a.m. Like, yeah, what do you mean? So sorry, I didn't see your previous message. Thanks, bro. I would join, but I'm driving. No, drive safely. Yeah, focus on your driving, man. I mean, is it a good specific affirmation? Because it's what I want in life. Yes, it is a good specific affirmation. Yes, I'm posting it on YouTube anyway. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your kind words. I really appreciate it. Yeah. How long is this live going to be? Honestly, I'm not sure. This was so impromptu, so I'm really not sure. Like, how long I wanted to do it. Like, As long as you guys have questions, I don't mind going for a while, because I wasn't able to sleep. So uh, yeah, so I just thought, like, you know what, why not just go ahead and do a live. Okay, can you explain the subconscious has no eyes? Okay, I will. But how are you typing when you're driving, dude? That's scary. Okay. Okay, essentially what they're saying is that when you are imagining something or anything like that, right? Like, the subconscious really can't see. Like, it literally means that subconscious has no eyes. Like, everything that you are, seeing in your mind is, like, is not, perceived by the outer world, right? Like, because when you are seeing something in the 3D, right, like, you have the sense of sight. But when you're imagining something, right, you don't have a sense of sight to do it. So it's all like, you're just like peeking into the infinite potential. So that's that, right? But the other thing is that, like, the subconscious doesn't can't differentiate between, like, the 3D and your imagination. The mind doesn't, like, it can't separate that, right? So that's why you really get railed up when you, like, imagine something that pisses you off from the past or something like that. You really get super duper angry or something, or you really become really really happy if it's a pleasant memory. It's because the subconscious mind isn't able to separate the imagery that you see in front of you right now through your eyes, and when you are just thinking about something, when you're just pondering about something, it can't differentiate which is quote unquote real and which isn't. So that's why we always say, like, subconscious has no eyes. So sorry, I'll just answer the Hope Nuggets one first, and then I'll get back to the Library Dragon one. So basically, your SP can say, "I hate you," but as long as you are affirming she loves me, she has to confirm, right? Absolutely, 100%. She has to confirm. Like, don't take their words too seriously at all. Like, regardless of what they say, 1 year in, 1 year out. Like, sometimes the biggest amounts of BS comes from SP's mouth, and like we should, have that thick skin and be like, you know what, I'm going to ignore whatever that you're telling me right now. I'm not going to take, you know any answer but accept a yes from you, right? So I'm just going to go with the flow, and I'm just going to, like, persist until you come back, right? Like, as the fully conformed version, right? It's about having that kind of conviction and, like, putting your foot down and saying, you know what, like, until you show up as that version that I want you to be, I'm not gonna, entertain any other version, and, like, just going with the flow and just ignoring whatever they say, and, like, not taking it too seriously. So that's about it. Can I blindly affirm? Yes, you can. Because, I always, like, there will always be points where you wouldn't believe the affirmation 100%, but again, you're not affirming for your conscious mind, you're affirming for your subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind is like a sponge that keeps absorbing everything. So what I would do is that I would constantly just say, my affirmations, for example, because not because, like, and every time when I'm saying it, it's not like I'm, like, fully comprehending it even, but I'm saying it over and over again because I want my subconscious to absorb it and make that my dominant thought, right? I always say this to my clients as well. It's like the YouTube advertisements, for example. Those aren't targeted at your conscious mind. They are targeted at your subconscious mind, right? So repetition really, really works before that reason, and that's why you can really blindly affirm, because you're doing it for the subconscious mind. So what was your favorite thing to manifest this month? What was my favorite thing? I guess just a more peaceful life, to be honest, and just like, for me, I really wanted to just be more active, like, physically be more active. So I was really able to kind of get myself out there with much more ease, without too much mental resistance and things like that. So that's something that I've been doing. So yeah, it's been fun, because I found myself to that when I was, like, putting that intention out there, like, I've been doing things that I wouldn't have done. Like, I was, like, going on night walks, like, almost like pitch black dark, in, like, through vegetation and things like that, with, like, no street lights. So that was really fun, and I wouldn't have done such things in the past before. I wouldn't even have the drive to, like, get out there that much, but, like, these days I'm having that much more drive and everything. So I'm really happy about that, and just having like a high level of energy is something that I've been trying to manifest. And yeah, if I'm doing this live, like, this is like, I would say, it's a big deal for me, because it's like, I can really operate with like high levels of energy even without like caffeine. So that was definitely an intention that I put out there, and it's been working really great for me. So yeah. Okay, so we have a private question. Okay, I'm not seeing anything at the moment. Okay, that's weird, because it's showing me a question mark, but I can't see any questions, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Oh lord, okay, there's a few questions here. I generated a new belief, bro. People are so easy to manifest. Even money, ridiculously easy to manifest. Took repetition to get there, but so worth it. Yes, I mean, this is the thing, right? Like, when you set the intentions, right? Like when you kind of set the rules for your reality, like it may take a while to kind of cement based on your limiting beliefs, your upbringing and whatnot. But when you define the new rules, and when you just like let that set in, like it's going to be there, right? So I would say, yeah, like look at the rules that you have like set for yourself in your life, and definitely see like, okay, which ones are relevant to you at this point, which ones are not serving you, and like change your rules of your life accordingly. So that's great, bro. I'm happy for you that way. I have manifested many things like job, money, friends, but I'm not able to attract my SP. Since 1 year I'm not able to attract message from him. So again, here's the deal, like, if you can manifest other things, SP shouldn't be a big deal, right? Especially if you can manifest like job and money, like SP shouldn't be a big deal in my opinion. But the reason why it feels like a big deal is because, again, like if you have been trying for a year, ask yourself like, okay, what exactly have you been doing, and what other things have you been doing that could potentially sabotage it? Like, are you checking 3D, or are you not consistent with your actions, for example? What's your thought process like? Are you having mental arguments with him, right? Just being aware of all these things will kind of shed light on why is it that it's taking a year, because there has to be a reason, right? It doesn't make sense, because if you can manifest like job, money and friends but not SP for a year, that means there's something that's holding you back, right? So you have to go and figure out what that is and resolve that, and like this should flow accordingly. Yeah. Hey man, question. I got fired from my old job, got a charge from it, sold ALC to a minor by accident. I want my old job back though. How could I go about manifesting that regardless of my firing? So there's a success story on my channel regarding like one of my clients was like fired for a mistake that she didn't even do, and she got back. So if you are free, just go and check that out. Sorry about the situation though. It doesn't seem like it was your fault. Yeah, like I totally understand, like that happens. So here's the deal, right? You just assume that you're on a break of sorts, and that the job is still yours. You can imagine your employer saying like welcome back, or things like that, or like you just working there again, with a high level of enthusiasm, for example, and just going with the flow, and just keep telling yourself, yeah, you worked there. Just convince yourself, like you don't have to go through that whole story of like, okay, XYZ happened, I got fired, now I'm back. You don't have to do that. You can just imagine like yourself working there, and just vividly imagine that, and like having some sort of conversation with your coworkers and things like that. And yeah, on top of that, you can just like hear your employer saying like, hey, welcome back, we're so sorry about that, and things like that. You get what I mean? So you can do a combination of those two, and I think that will really help. And you can just say, I'm now working here, and just state your job or like your shop name and what's on not. And that will really help you, I feel. So that's about it, honestly. There's not much to do. It's a pretty straightforward thing, but it's more about just kind of like getting rid of like the reasons as to why they wouldn't want to hire you back and things like that. Like, don't let the logical mind kind of creep in during this time, and if you can just keep that at bay, it should be fine. So yeah, best of luck though. The time it takes to appear on 3D is proportional. Okay, I hope sorry. So basically, the thing that Neville said is like, the more natural you feel your desires, the quicker it comes to you, right? So that means that the more you feel it real, right? If you feel the idea of you being a billionaire real, right, within, the quicker it comes to you, right? And essentially that's the kind of point we are trying to get to through repetition of any sorts. And that's the thing that Neville always says is, at the end of everything he always says like, feel it real, feel it real, feel it real, right? That is why, because he really wants to get to that point of like feeling it as natural as possible, like making it second nature, right? And when you can just feel like, okay, SP is already mine, right, without even having to check the 3D, or regardless of what the 3D shows you, if you can feel like, okay, this is already a done deal, or even if you are a very poor person right now, right, but in your mind you see yourself as a millionaire and maintain that consistently, through thick or thin, like something will happen and like you will get your desires, like you will become a millionaire, maybe through the lottery, or maybe someone may elevate you, you never know, right? Recently, not too long ago, I shared this thing about like a homeless person who does really cool art, right? He was like, I think, spotted by some YouTubers, and like, his life changed after that, because like I think Steve Harvey bought one of his paintings for like 50,000, and the orders kept coming in thereafter, and it's just life changed, right? All because some YouTubers decided to help him out of the blue, right? So you never know how it may come to you. You never know how it may come to you. So this is why like making it natural as possible should be a priority, and like if you can do that and maintain that, sustaining it is important. That's one thing I really want to stress, is not just getting to that point. It's like almost like getting to that Sabbath state, but it's not just important to just get to that state, but you have to maintain it, sustain it until it comes, into your reality, basically, until your desires comes into your reality, basically. Okay, let me see. Hey. Awesome, thank you for sharing. Yeah, you're welcome. Can you give me some good affirmations for my self-concept? Okay, so the list is non-exhaustive, but depending on your situation, it can vary. But what I would say is like, I'm worthy of receiving all that I desire, or everybody loves me. My favorite one is that I have on my vision board is like, I'm loved, admired, and respected by everyone around me, or I'm always the best at what I do. I'm very successful at all the things I do. I'm always thriving in my life, and things like that. If you want like a bigger list, there's one in my FB group, free to download. So you can join the FB group, and you can just download the PDF from there. Go ahead and ask any questions you have. I have a suggestion for that person. I'm so good at manifesting, especially SPs. That's a good one, actually. Yeah. Okay, I'm just waving to as much people as I can, so forgive me if I'm just looking down at my screen. Okay, I think, so there isn't a lot of questions anymore. So if you guys have any other questions, just bring it up my way. I'll just take a quick sip. How to change the physical appearance. So I'll put up a video of that really quick later after this live, but essentially a lot of people do it through affirmations and visualizing, right? Like constantly visualizing themselves, like essentially like not having whatever that they don't want to have in their appearance, or like seeing a modified version of themselves. Maybe it's like a smaller nose, or maybe like an acne-free skin, or like a very glow-up skin, or something like that, right? Like they just visualize themselves having it, and just like kind of reinforcing that with like affirmations, for example. It really, really helps. So yeah. Okay, so I have a question. Just need to type. Okay, sure. It's so weird. He's mirroring me. I was obsessed with him. He obsessed with his ex. I want this and that with my SP, but he did that for his ex. What's wrong? I feel like, just from what you have told me, I feel like what could be wrong, and this is just speculation on my end, is that you seem to be placing a lot of emphasis on your SP more so than yourself. Like I feel like it's always more about SP and his world rather than making it all about you, right? So make yourself the primary character of your reality rather than SP being the main character, right? And I feel like the dynamics will shift. So put the emphasis on yourself. I feel like that's the biggest issue for you. Okay, this is so weird because I feel like there's a question that's popping up, but it's not showing up for some reason. I'm not sure why. So if you guys are trying to send me a question privately, just send it to me, publicly, because I can't see any private questions at the moment for some reason. Okay, so that's a good one. How to make my grandma see that I deserve inheritance? Just imagine her telling you that you deserve it. Simple as that, right? The solution lies in your problem, right? Make it easy for yourself. Just hear her telling that to you, visualize her telling that to you and giving you a portion of her inheritance or something like that, right? That's it. And just loop that until you feel it real, or write it in a letter format. Read it until you feel it real every night before you go to bed. And yeah, that's it. It's a very simple thing, honestly speaking. So it's not like you have to do anything complicated, like so really break it down. And so write whatever you'd like to, or just hear it in a conversation form. You guys can see me, yeah. Okay, is it middle to desire being constantly spoiled? For example, being no, it's not. I wouldn't say it's the middle, because again, you use the word constantly there. So when you use the word constantly, you want it to be going on and on and on forever, right? So that way it's not something in the middle of anything. But I think as time goes by, your goals may change and you may shift into something else accordingly. But like for the time being, you can just imagine yourself being spoiled, and you can always change it down the line if you choose to experience something else. So yeah, I've been using. Okay, so this is with regards to the grandmother's inheritance for those who are watching the YouTube replay. So I've been using force, and it's certainly not fun, and it's not working that great. Obviously, because nothing that you can do in the 3D will really help you if you have an unfavorable state of mind. So I can see how visualizing her telling me I have it will help me. Absolutely, yeah. So there's another question. I'm not scoring well in my quant papers. Okay, I'm not sure what subject is that in general. I've always felt I'm bad with numbers, and people around me are doing great at those subjects, which is affecting my GPA. How do I feel confident? Okay, so what I would do is start seeing yourself as a subject matter expert, and like don't compare yourself with others. Don't worry about your GPA. Like what I would do is like I would just see it as like, okay, this subject is easy for me. Like I thrive at this subject. I'm always the best at this subject, right? Just put the emphasis on you. And like when you look at the subject, right, like don't come at it from the perspective like, okay, it's all complicated. Like start bringing it down and tell yourself that you are an intelligent person who can consume information easily, and therefore this is easy for you. So go into this with the perspective that it's easy for you, and start priming your mind for that, and intend that the concepts clicks very easily for you, and that things are always easy for you here, and that only easy questions gets tested for you and things like that, or that you're always thriving in the tests, and like you can always see like the results showing that you are the top scorer for this subject and so on. Okay, got it. Quantitative analysis. Okay, got it. You're the best. Thank you. Yeah. So those are the things that we can do. So yeah, I'll just hang around for a couple of minutes. So if there's any questions, I guess we can just you guys can just ask, and we can just wrap it up really quick, I guess. So yeah, if there's any last minute questions, just let me know. Yeah, and this will be on YouTube. Yeah, so just in case if anyone joined late and you're wondering, yeah. I don't have favorite books about manifestation, honestly. Like Neville's, like the big one, the collection is like something that I always keep around. And anything, honestly, like I feel like it's very unfair, like if I said like I had a favorite, because every book has a gem. So I mean, if anyone wants to start like like I would say like just buying the Neville collection, or like Think and Grow Rich. It's a much more like a practical version of like it kind of explores like the concept of manifesting as well. So those are some good books, I would say. So yeah, because I really don't have a favorite, to be honest. Like I wish I had one, but I really don't. because like my favorite books are actually like fiction. Like The Alchemist is one of my favorite books because I really like a good story, especially because like viewing it from like a manifestation lens, I really resonated with it. So yeah, because when it comes to like non-fiction though, I feel like every book has like such good information that I can't just like pick a favorite there. So yeah, hope that makes sense. I'm just gonna see if I left out any questions or whatsoever, just in case that you know. But I don't think I did though. So okay, I don't think I did. So yeah, if you guys have any other questions, just okay. A simple daily manifestation routine. Waking up and just reminding yourself of your self-worth, like who you are, that you are worthy just as you are, and just like looking at your vision board, or just closing your eyes and just seeing whatever that you're aiming for and trying to feel it real before you just go on with the day. That's a great manifestation routine. Like it takes maybe like 10 minutes, I would say. And just going throughout the day with that, like trying to maintain that momentum, I would say it's pretty simple one. Or you can just say your affirmations maybe morning, noon and night, maybe a couple times. So I'm sure you will get a break for lunchtime, right? So you can just like repeat affirmations in your head a couple times. Again, nothing fancy. It can just be one or two affirmations, but just like looping them in your mind over and over again, that would be helpful. So like doing it in like morning, noon and night intervals, that would be helpful for you. So yeah, hope that helps. I'm unable to let go of anger against my SP. There's a 3P and I know I manifested it, but getting it out of my head, especially since I'm stressed with school, has become difficult. Okay, so the deal here is pick your battles, right? What I would say is that focus on the more important things, right? And catch up on your rest, right? Like get some rest, not because you're physically tired or fatigued or whatsoever, but just for your mind, basically, right? Try not to think about the 3P as much as you can, but rather like focus on your union with your SP. If you're unable to do that, then just focus on yourself for the time being, and like focus on like clearing whatever's ahead of you school wise, and then come back to this when you have like a better capacity to deal with this. And in the meantime, yeah, you can always use self-concept affirmations for yourself, because like I said earlier, like you can never go wrong by choosing to invest in yourself. So when you're putting the emphasis on yourself, and when you're just focusing on just thriving and glowing as a person, right? Because everyone is pushed out and everyone will start giving you that recognition, that attention. SP will do the same, because SP is no different, because essentially what you do when you focus on yourself is like dropping the pressure and like removing the emphasis off of SP. So this really helps that. Yeah. So yeah, I'll just wait for another 5 more minutes. So if there's no questions, I'll just wrap it up within 5 more minutes, because I'd love to keep it going, but the thing is like my battery is kind of getting low, so that's the only reason I would have to cut it short. So if you guys have any questions, just let me know, and I'll just wrap it up within the next 5 minutes. And I know that I've been kind of inactive on YouTube, so I will definitely start posting more videos. I just recorded a couple videos earlier, so be sure to expect more, and there's some exciting stuff coming, so stay tuned for that. Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah. Okay, so I don't think there's any other questions. I'm just gonna wait a few more minutes. Okay, yeah, you guys can either send me privately or through publicly as well. That's not an issue. So tips on manifesting sobriety for someone. Okay, so if it's not yourself, if you're manifesting it for someone else, what I would do is putting them in that state. So, and that is to imagine themselves, that person, as being sober already and as being very well off, and you're maintaining a conversation with them, or where they are telling you like, hey, I'm doing so well, I've been sober for XYZ amounts of time. Or you can just simply see this person being healthy and just being happy and doing an activity, right? A specific activity. It could be anything. Like if this person loves to paint, right? When they were really doing really well before all whatever happened, right? You can just imagine themselves smiling and painting, for example. So you can imagine them like doing a specific activity, or them telling you like, hey, I'm doing really well for myself. So that's really helpful, I would say. So yeah, thanks for the question. I think that was a really good one, because not a lot of people really think about that actually. So I'm glad you asked that question, because especially when it comes to manifesting things for others, really all you have to do is like shift them into that state, and that really helps. And you just have to maintain that perception of them, and treat that version of them being separate to what you would see in the 3D, if you will. Like, so treat the the 4D version of them and the 3D version of them as two separate entities until both kind of converge at one point. So yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. Okay. So for those of you who are just joining, the links for the live will be in my story later on in maybe in an hour or two. I'll just post the links for this, and you guys can catch the replay and leave any comments there as well. So that way, hopefully, and if I did miss out any question, yeah, so I'll definitely get back to it in the comments as well. So that way it's easier. And also, this was one thing that some of you asked is like, if some of you actually have a question right here, and you need further clarification on that later or something like that, feel free to just comment it under the video itself. That way I can just get back to it, and I know that, okay, this was the live where I actually asked that question or something. Yeah. Okay. It's been at this almost a year. I know I keep checking 3D as blocked and try to stay in state. What's your advice? It's SP's birthday tomorrow too. Okay, so here's the deal, right? Like, one thing I'll definitely say is, don't put the emphasis on SP. Like, so what if it's SP's birthday tomorrow? Like, who cares? It's just another day, celebrate yourself, right, as a person, and don't put an emphasis on them, right? If you keep like checking 3D and seeing that you are blocked, what it does is that it emphasizes that okay, this is not here yet. So what we always say in the world of manifesting is, like, we always say, like, shut down the senses, right? Like, deny the evidences that your senses always presents to you, right? Like, turn a blind eye to that, right? And focus on your inner world, where you guys are already together, where you guys are maybe living in the same space, for example. Because if that were to be the case, social media, technically speaking, wouldn't matter, right? That's what I always tell my clients is, like, if you are, like, let's say, like sending a text to your dad, for example, and if your dad just leaves you on read or seen or something like that, you wouldn't get mad because they're literally like next door, right? So that's the way I would approach this. It's like, go straight to the end, envision yourself living there, with them, and decrease this in importance, because social media at the end of the day means nothing, right? So come at it from that perspective, and like, don't treat it like, okay, this has to happen first before we get back together or something like that. Maybe that thought itself could be potentially be holding you back in some level, and definitely don't be putting an emphasis on SP. Like, put the focus and emphasis on you, because it's all about you rather than SP. So I feel like that's something that you could be working on, and maybe that would help you. Yeah, best of luck. You're welcome. Yeah. Hey guys, for those of you who are joining, I'm going to be wrapping this up actually. So you will be able to catch the live on my YouTube. I'll be posting it shortly, and I'm posting the link in my stories. So guys, yeah, thank you for everything. Thank you for joining the live. I know it's pretty early morning on a Sunday for me, evening for folks who are on the other side of the world. But yeah, really, thank you for joining the live. I really, really appreciate the love and support from all of you. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. And if you guys have any questions about the courses and what plans I offer right now, feel free to DM me, because there are a few new ones, like the self-concept masterclass and the SP bundle. So be sure to email me, and yeah, so I'll catch you guys. So this one more last one. Thanks, I really need to hear that. I can't really visualize, but I'll keep affirming for myself, less him. Yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely. And I intend that everything goes favorable with you and your SP. And yeah, so guys, take care. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. Then catch you later. Take care. Bye.